In this video, I'll be exploring a method of making black powder, which could effectively double my output per milling session. This method will take advantage of potassium nitrate's exponential solubility over temperature. As temperature is increased, the solubility of the potassium nitrate increases dramatically, and by the time the water is boiling, you can effectively dissolve the potassium nitrate in half its volume of water. So looking at a solubility graph of potassium nitrate, I should be able to dissolve 300 grams, this right here, that is 300 grams, to make a total of 400 grams of black powder, in 100 milliliters, that's just to here, of water at 110 degrees Celsius, a bit over the boiling point. So I'm going to add a little bit of an excess of water. You can see I've got it at about 175 milliliters to account for losses during boiling, and I still want to have a little bit of an excess of water to make sure I can dissolve all the potassium nitrate, and even when the solution cools down after adding the charcoal and sulfur to it, it does not just crystallize out. Okay, so I'm just going to pour this potassium nitrate into here, the pot, and now pour the water into this beaker that has the potassium nitrate in it to wash it out, clear out the last little bits. That contaminant you see in there is some carbon, doesn't matter, won't affect this at all. Okay, now this is not going to dissolve all the potassium nitrate by any stretch of the imagination at this point in time. And that's why we're going to go put it on the heat. Let's crank it up all the way to high. Do my ball mill slow down. Alright, and I'll get back to you when this is all dissolved. Okay, so all the potassium nitrate's dissolved. I'm gonna unplug my ball mill. It's boiling off some water. Now here we've got this charcoal and sulfur mixture, which has been going for a long time. I'm just gonna dump that onto paper and then put it into here. Once the surface tension is broken, this is what it looks like. And it's very soupy, so I'm waiting for it to dry out a little bit, which is a very quick process because it's so hot. So I'm going to put a glob on each side of both of these screens and rice it out. When sometimes I might not wear gloves because none of these chemicals are toxic, you definitely want to do it when it's hot like this to protect you from the heat. Even these thin nitrile gloves will do a really good job for you. And you guys get how you make black powder, so I'm not going to film this whole process. So this was my first time using this method, and I did not use any dextrin to bind the granules. Dextrin only slows your black powder down, and unless it's of utmost importance that your granules are hard, it's not necessary. The real reason you only ever use dextrin to make black powder is if you're making meal-coated rice hulls. But I'm not, I'm just making granules to throw in shells, and it doesn't matter if they bust up. These are not yet dry. And I did not film the entire process because this was a trial run, and sometimes it's easier just to do it the first time and not have to worry about too much filming. So once this is completely dry, I'll give it a test. Okay, so the black powder is almost dry, and it's only been about 20 minutes since I made it. It dries very fast because it was hot, and now it's baking in the hot sun. I want it to dry out very quickly because I don't want the potassium nitrate crystals to form largely. I want them to be shocked into being right where they are. We'll see if it works. I'm gonna test some in its mildly damp state right now. We'll see how it looks. Here it goes. Not bad, and that's still not completely dry. Not bad at all. Okay, so now I'm going to compare this to traditionally made black powder. All the ingredients ball milled together, bound with alcohol, with a little bit of dextrin. Let's see how it compares. And that is completely dry. Okay, so there's the finished black powder, and in one milling session, I made 400 grams of it. My usual output is 200 grams per milling, but since I only milled the fuels and then dissolved the potassium nitrate in, I could effectively double the capacity of my ball mill. I think that's pretty cool. And I think this is completely dry, so let's go give it another test. Traditional, alcohol-bound, ball milled, all ingredients together, black powder. My new method, which puts out about twice as much black powder per milling session. I felt more heat coming off of that one. That was both 1/4 teaspoon of each. Both were using pine charcoal. That is the traditional way, and that's the new way. Now there's a lot of factors that could change that, so that's not really a very good test. I'll see how many frames each one took up. With essentially the same exact burn rate, I think that this method, which doubles output, I'm going to find favor with. This has been pulled from, but I think it's well worth it.